Okay, so food insecurity has been defined as a lack of consistent access to enough food for someone to live an active and healthy life. So, in other words, there are millions of people all over the world who suffer from a shortage of food and cannot tell if they will be able to feed themselves the next day or at the end of the day. This is the basis of defining food insecurity. Nearly 1 in every 5 people survive on less than $1.25 a day. Approximately 80% of this small amount is used to buy food for an entire family, so this leaves very little room for buying other necessities such as health care, clothes, and shelter, or even just anything else like that you may need. Now imagine how much we spend daily on random things, totaling up to a lot more than $1.25. So if you just go out and we'll buy things from Target or we'll get food just because we're out with friends. So people experiencing food insecurity often consume a nutrient-poor diet, which may contribute to the development of obesity, heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and other chronic diseases. Poor nutrition causes nearly half, or 45%, of deaths in children under 5, or 3.1 million children each year. It is estimated that nearly 8,000 of these deaths are tied to hunger. Approximately one child dies every 10 seconds. Causes such as economic insecurity or other factors contribute to a several number of issues in both children and adults affected by food insecurity, but with several innovative solutions such as meal programs and reducing food waste, we can help reduce food insecurity. In an article published by the American Journal of Nursing in January of 2019, food insecurity affects more people than you may think, as food insecurity affects college students, the LGBT community, older Americans, veterans, and military families, and households with children. In an article from AAP News Journals published in October of 2019, children facing food insecurity can have problems in school and socially, as they have higher rates of cognitive problems, aggression, and anxiety. Food insecurity in adults is correlated with increased rates of mental health problems, diabetes, hypertension, poor sleep, and overall just poor health. These health outcomes are particularly troubling as they disproportionately impact populations who are already vulnerable and struggling with housing, health, work, discrimination, and other challenges. Chronic food insecurity causes underweight, wasting, and stunted growth. One quarter of the world's children are stunted as a result of not having enough to eat. Today, food insecurity is not only associated with hunger, somewhat paradoxically, it often correlates with obesity as well. This does not mean that the two are necessarily causally linked. Both food insecurity and obesity are the consequences of poverty and a lack of access to nutritious food. According to the Office of Disease Prevention, on March 6, 2018, food insecurity may be long-term or temporary. It may be influenced by a number of factors, including income also, as well as employment, race, ethnicity, and disability. The risk for food insecurity increases when money to buy food is limited or not available. Yes, like I said, the biggest cause of food insecurity is poverty, as one bad month can plunge a family into food insecurity. Layoffs at work, unexpected car maintenance, or an accident on the job can suddenly force a family to choose between buying food and paying bills. Working families across America face countless situations that can result in food insecurity and hunger. In an article from Plus One on August 31st, 2020, another cause of food insecurity is food shortages and waste. As in developing countries, many of the small farmers rely on their own crop to survive. So the period leading up to the harvest is known as the hungry season, because food from the previous harvest runs out and families cut back on meals. This period of time may last for months depending on the size of the previous harvest. Another reason for food shortages is up to 40% of food grown in some countries is spoilage. So pretty much it's when small farm holders do not have adequate storage facilities to protect their supplies against pests and weather, so the food actually goes bad and therefore is wasted. According to an article from Feeding America from May 17, 2020, about 1.3 billion tons of food, roughly one-third of all food produced, is wasted. When all this food is not consumed, the 1 in 8 people in the world who go hungry every day is stripped of the chance to get a life-saving meal. Lastly, discrimination is a cause for food insecurity in every country, developed or developing. In an article published by the American Journal of Public Health in July of 2017, every country, regardless of its wealth, has discrimination woven into its social fabric. Disadvantaged groups tend to be left the furthest behind. In most countries, these are racial, ethnic, or religious minorities. Another reason is poor infrastructure. So, according to an article from Conserve Energy on July 19, 2020, poor infrastructure causes hunger by making it difficult, sometimes impossible, to transport food to areas of a country where there are shortages. So people have died of hunger in one region of a country while there was plenty of food in another region. The roads were so poor it was not possible to reach all of those who needed the food to survive. So crops need water to grow. Irrigation infrastructure is unaffordable to most farmers in developing countries. A lack of water and sanitation infrastructure are leading causes of hunger and malnutrition. So people have died of hunger in one region of country while there's plenty of food in another. Community food programs, educational programs are some ways to solve food insecurity or help. So according to an article published by the Urban Institute in February of 2019, some solutions for child food insecurity would be to help the children of the families who are facing food insecurity, as we can make school meals free for all students. Other effective strategies would be to include breakfast after the bell to maximize participation, and serving lunch after recess when children are more likely to eat their full meal as they just got done running around playing with their friends. If you serve it before, they're most likely more distracted, but they want to go with their friends. Because of rural isolation and the lack of transportation across the state, there is a need for creative solutions to get food to residents. This approach may involve building on current mobile food options such as Veggie Van Go, or exploring new ideas for bringing food to central locations. Stakeholders also noted the potential to partner with Good News Garage, a car donation charity, and with innovative corporate sponsors in the transportation industry such as Lyft and Uber. Another solution would be to reduce food waste, because food is wasted mainly because of inefficient preparations, bumpy or bad roads, over-selective customers, and inadequate storage facilities. If storage facilities are improved and there are adequate preparations for how the food will be used, less food will be wasted and there will be a more food-secure community. So in conclusion, food insecurity is a global issue affecting a large population of the world, which are constantly worried about whether or not they'll be able to eat their next meal or go hungry due to causes such as poverty, poor infrastructure, and food waste. I believe this is a huge issue that we need to address immediately. So like I said, causes such as economic insecurity and other factors contribute to several number of issues in both children and adults affected by food insecurity. But with several innovative solutions such as meal programs and reducing food waste, we can help reduce food insecurity.